Hello, hello. We are here for your monthly market update with the Kim Mixon real estate team. And Dustin Steele with North Point Bank, our local mortgage expert, is going to join us to talk rates real quick. This is your, in 10 minutes or less, market update telling you what happened in February in real estate for our local real estate market, which is primary coverage of Harris and Muskogee County in Georgia and Russell and Lee County in Alabama. So we are going to delve into where we are with numbers, how February closed out, and then get your update on what's happening with mortgage interest rates, and then let you get on to the rest of your day until next month. So, all right, let's jump in for Muskogee and Harris County. Our interest rates are going to play into how the market is performing. But I want to first tell you about all of this and then let us get to the rates with Dustin. Closed sales for Muskogee and Harris County in February were 173 closed sales, and last year February was 254, so we are down on closed sales. Not a real big surprise. Last year, remember, interest rates were still in the threes this time of year last year. So we did have a little bit different market climate at that time. Average time on the market for February was 42 days. Last year was 35 days. So a few more days, but nothing significant. Average sales price for February was $226,600, and average sales price for February last year was $228,800. List to sale price percent actually is higher this year than it was last year. So what it listed for and what it actually sold for in February was 98.22% versus last year at 97.6%. There are currently approximately 257 active listings in the MLS. Last year, around this same time when we did our market update, there were 250 active listings. So we're kind of on par, not a big change in number of homes, still extremely low inventory. And if you're a buyer, you probably already know that. Pending sales currently around 353 pending sales, and last year this time there were 467 pending sales. So we've got about the same inventory, but we've got fewer pending sales. Again, probably got something to do with interest rates and kind of just where we are on some of that. Let's look at Russell and Lee County and see how February closed out. There were 92 closed sales in February, and last year there were 143. Again, a pretty good chunk less. I mean, not huge, but a decent number less than last year. The average time on the market for February was about 50 days, and the average time on the market last year was about 28 days. So there is a big difference, and I didn't really delve yet into why that is such a big difference in days on the market for the average this February versus last February. One thing that can play into that is new construction, and I'd have to really look closer. If we see this trend going, I'll probably examine it closer. New construction will often be on the market for a number of days longer than the average resale home, because often builders will list before the home is completed, but most homes that are listed before completion often won't really go under contract until closer to completion. So anyhow, it will typically show more days on the market, and if we had quite a few new construction that closed out in February, then that could have skewed our days on the market. Again, I don't know that that's the answer. If we see that trending in the coming months, I'll probably dig deeper into the days on the market, but this little anomaly this 1 month is probably not a big deal. Average sales price for February in Russell and Lee County was $258,178, and average sales price last year was $244,300. List to sale price percent, it was 98.13 this past February and 99.61 previous February. So down slightly from last year, but not, again, nothing significant that is really any indication of anything market-wise. There are currently about 140 active listings in the MLS for Russell and Lee County with East Alabama Board of Realtors. And last year this time there were about 101. So we've got a few more homes on the market, but not many. Pending sales, right now we have about 181 pending sales, and last year was about 231. So again, like Muskogee and Harris County, we do have fewer pending sales right now, which will result in fewer closed sales next month. So I anticipate here over these next probably 2 months on average, we'll probably continue to see closed sales be lower than they were last year. But I'm interested to see moving into spring if that changes, if we start to see some of the closed sale activity pick up getting into April, May, June, as we approach and get into our higher real estate sales season. So that gives you your market update. I think I'm doing well on time to keep you in this in under 10 minutes. Get you the information you need, but not dragging it out. We are going to bring in Dustin from North Point and get our update on interest rates.
Hey,
and
guys.
I'm going to go ahead and warn you. He said it's not good. He said that the
It
news
could be better. It's been worse.
Okay, well, all right. So that's good. It could be worse.
Could be
Is
worse.
good news, I guess.
It has been better. It was better the last time you saw me. So right now, rates as far as a conventional loan you're gonna see that anywhere, depending on credit score, anywhere from 6.5% to 7% right now. You could buy it down lower if you'd like to, but expect to see 6.5% to 7%, depending on what your credit is. FHA, VA, those are also going to be over 6% unless you're buying them down. You can look for that to be at around 6.25%, 6.25. I think the last time we spoke, VA, FHA, both of those were right at 5.625. Some people paying buy downs to get into the low fives. So we have seen a lot of shift in the last 30 days. And a lot of that is just due to inflation. I know that's kind of sounding like a broken record for me at this point, because every video I'm like, inflation, inflation, inflation.
It's the nature of the market.
That's what it is. It's inflation. The Fed Chair Powell spoke again today. He was not very positive. He did say there would be more rate hikes.
We don't like him.
What we're kind of starting to see is the data does not really impact things as heavily as what their tone is and what his message is. So when he gets up and speaks and he is negative or maybe a little bit uneasy, that seems to throw more volatility into our market than a jobs report or a labor report or the inflation report. So kind of pay attention to what he says and what his tone is, if that's something that you like to listen to. But yeah, rates are rising.
Or you can just listen to Dustin.
Yeah, or
and
you can
he'll
listen to
give you
me.
the
Yeah.
rundown.
But that's what we're seeing. I do think we're going to continue to see. Obviously, if we see more Fed rate hikes, there's going to be one next month. They said maybe that could be a quarter, kind of maybe up to a half. So expect another one that will throw some volatility out there. Rates may rise a little bit more. But until we see inflation really start to come down, you can expect rates to still be all over the place. And so I think it is more important than it has ever been. Trust your lender. Trust your agent.
Yes.
If your agent sends you to someone and they've given you months of their time, these people do care about you. They live in this area. They have skin in the game. They're not on the internet. You're not a number to them.
And that makes a difference.
Trust them. Trust them. If you're under contract to buy a home, I would stop shopping around. Rates that move so frequently that things that are offered to you in the morning sometimes are not there in the afternoon. So trying to save yourself $5 or $10 by going with a stranger that's on the internet is just not worth it.
Could cost you more.
It's just not worth
Yeah.
it. If you're still in the pre-qualification stage and still feeling it out, that's perfectly fine. But if you're under contract to close in the next 30 days, I would trust the people that are in your corner and move forward now more than ever. It was really easy to shop in 2020 and 2021 when rates were so stable and so low. There just wasn't any risk. There's just a lot of risk right now. So
Heed
trust your
the
folks.
warning. Please heed the warning. We don't take this stuff lightly because we understand for our clients any change in interest rate impacts your pocket, your money, and may even impact what you qualify for.
True. And we've seen it affect people's ability to qualify at all. They may be under contract for a certain number, and rates spike, and they may not qualify for that anymore. And so, they end up either being denied the loan or having to maybe being able to renegotiate something to make it work. But it is dangerous. It is dangerous, or it just gets to a point where you're not comfortable with that payment anymore. So
Right. Well, and to hear rates, pushing that 7 mark is not what anybody wants to hear. We were hoping maybe we'd hear, getting back into the 5s, that kind of thing. It was when I bought my first house in 1999. My interest rate was around, I think, 7.5, 7.8, something like that. And it was an incredible rate at the time. It was considered a really good rate. And I was excited about it. But just to give you some food for thought before we wrap up here, this example I'm going to give is something to think about. So when you're looking at an interest rate that is 7, whatever it might be, remember, there's opportunity down the road to refinance because what goes up will come down. Yeah. So in 1999, when I bought my first house, rates were in the 7s. I think I was like 7.5, 7.8 is where my rate was. A year later, or maybe slightly over a year later, interest rates had dropped to the low 6s. I refinanced my 30-year mortgage to a 15-year mortgage in the low 6s, and my payment only went up $100 a month.
Wow. Yep.
Like, that's how significant it could be. So if you're feeling a little uneasy about interest rates at the moment, but yet the house you want is out there and you've got the ability to make it happen, just keep in mind that rates will come back down and level out. I don't know what they'll come down to, maybe not 3, but if it's at 7 and it drops to 6, you can refinance down the road. So keep that in mind. I know, none of that's ideal, but just things that you want to keep in mind and think about. So anything else you want to add to it? I guess by the news he brought, he's not going to tell us rates are going to be in the 5s next month.
Hey, there's still a lot of people that think, a lot of experts a little smarter than me, they still think we're going to see lower rates by the fourth quarter. I think they think by the end, inflation is, going to be a little bit more under control and we could see them. So, but I still would not wait. I would not wait. So, the rate still does not outweigh the appreciation of the home.
Yeah.
You're still going to make more owning that home than saving a little bit on the rate over the next 12 months.
Somewhere. Yeah.
Right. So, just
awesome.
Be safe. Lock them in.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So in less than 10 minutes, we got our market update. We got our mortgage interest rate update. And we will see you next month in April, officially spring, I guess, by that point. Yeah. And we'll have our end of the quarter market update. So that'll give us a little bit more cumulative information for first quarter to talk about. But until then, if you need us, you know how to get us. Kim Mixon, Dustin Steele. If you're watching this, you're on one of my websites. So you know how to reach me. Yeah. Dustin will put his contact information in the comments below. And you guys have a great March. We look forward to seeing you again in April.
See you guys.
See ya.